Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child, and PSE&G. We make things work for communities.
Tonight on NJTV News, an alarming uptick in STDs.
How are Americans having less sex but getting more sexually transmitted diseases? Turns out we're less frisky, but more risky.
Governor Murphy and New Jersey congressional Democrats issue yet another warning about the urgency of funding the Gateway Tunnel project.
Plus, a chaotic opening to Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings. Cory Booker called for a delay. And a deal on the price of gas. It's cheaper by a nickel a gallon. Enjoy it while you can. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. A call for action on the crucial Gateway Tunnel under the Hudson. New Jersey's congressional delegation is demanding the Trump administration finally help fund the project they say represents 20% of the nation's gross domestic product. The Trump administration's answer? Here's Chief Political Correspondent Michael Aaron.
Under a New Jersey Turnpike bridge in Secaucus, officials and stakeholders gathered to talk up the Gateway Tunnel project. People like Jerry Zarrow, New Jersey's trustee at the Gateway Development Corporation.
This is no longer an optional matter. This tunnel must be built. It was built 110 years ago when Teddy Roosevelt was president, or for context, when the Titanic was under construction.
The plan is to replace the existing 2 tubes with 2 new ones and then rehab the old ones. Total cost, $13 billion by the most recent estimate. Total time, 8 years. Governor Murphy says the state will do its part.
Today we are all here to speak with one clear voice. New Jersey is ready to get work on America's next great infrastructure project. And I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I know New York is as well. We are ready for the Trump administration to step up to the plate with us. We are ready to do Gateway together.
President Trump once spoke about a $1 trillion infrastructure plan, but he has been cool to Gateway. His transportation secretary, Elaine Chao, said it's more a local project than a national one. Looming behind today's press conference, the Portal North Bridge, which is first in line to be replaced as part of Gateway.
When this bridge gets stuck, as it all too often does, thousands of commuters get stuck, and commerce along the entire Northeast corridor gets stuck with them. This is certainly about New Jersey and New York, but it's about so much more than that. This little bridge and this Gateway project impact about 20% of our nation's GDP.
A shutdown of the corridor, which may very well be a reality without Gateway, would cost $100 million per day. It would be disaster for our workers, for our economy, and our air quality.
And I understand just how important maintaining our infrastructure is, especially for northern New Jerseyans. This is our lifeblood we're talking about here.
People once assumed that Trump, being a New Yorker, would support Gateway.
I cannot for the life of me, a guy from New York, that doesn't see the importance of this bridge and these tunnels.
Don't go in those tunnels when they're lit. Be glad you go through them and they're dark. Because if you saw them lit, you might not go back in them in the dark.
Some say Trump is using the tunnel project as a wedge against Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York.
I'm not in Washington, but we hear that, or we surmise that maybe the president wants leverage over the region for support for his wall.
Others theorize it may have to do with New York as a bastion of Trump bashing, from the New York Times to the major networks to the 2 governors themselves.
This should be beyond politics. And the evidence for me is the universal, I believe in both New York and New Jersey, universal bipartisan support for this project. You can't find a Republican or a Democrat who are opposed to this. It's so obvious.
There was a chorus here beseeching the federal government for funding for the Gateway Tunnel project. What's missing is a fuller understanding of why the Trump administration isn't listening. In Secaucus, I'm Michael Aaron, NJTV News.
Confirmation hearings for President Trump's second Supreme Court nominee ignited fireworks right from the opening gavel as the Senate Judiciary Committee delved into the resume of Circuit Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Senior correspondent David Cruz monitored the proceedings. He joins us with details. David?
Mary Alice, for much of today's Judiciary Committee hearing, the nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, sat quietly and expressionless. Even before he got a chance to make an opening statement, Democrats on the committee pounced, attempting a kind of group filibuster to delay, and they moved to suspend the hearing. They complained that no one could get through the mountain of documents released just late yesterday by the White House. And they complained that tens of thousands of other documents from Kavanaugh's time as White House counsel and staff secretary to George W. Bush were either withheld or marked as committee confidential, meaning committee members could see them but not share them publicly. Here's a little bit of how day one of the hearings went.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn. I ask for a roll call vote.
We're not in executive session. We will continue as planned.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized, sir? Mr. Chairman, I appeal to the chair to recognize myself or one of my colleagues.
You're out of order.
Mr. Chairman, I appeal to be recognized on your sense of decency and integrity. Even the documents you have requested, Mr. Chairman, even the ones that you said, the limited documents you have requested, this committee has not received. And the documents we have, you, sir, have labeled committee confidential. They should be transparent. This committee, sir, is a violation of even the values I've heard you talk about time and time again, the ideals that we should have. What is the rush? What are we trying to hide by not having the documents out front? What is with the rush? What are we hiding by not letting those documents come out?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator,
Mr. Chairman, I've heard calls for regular order.
I'd like to respond to Senator Booker. Senator Booker, I think that I respect very much a lot of things you do, but you spoke about my decency and you spoke about my decency and integrity, and I think you are taking advantage of my decency and integrity.
I haven't been in as many confirmation hearings as some of my colleagues, but this is the first confirmation hearing for a Supreme Court justice I've seen, basically, according to mob rule.
Judge Kavanaugh is one of the most distinguished judges. Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to have this loudmouth removed. I mean, we shouldn't have to put up with this kind of stuff. I hope she's not a law student.
These things are going to be said throughout this hearing. We're going to be in session Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, till we get done this week. So however long people want to take, we're going to not necessarily accommodate all obstruction, but if people got something to say, this chairman's going to let them say it. But it gets pretty boring to hear the same thing all the time. Senator Booker, make it quick, please.
Democrats say they're concerned about what Kavanaugh's presence on the court would mean to abortion rights, presidential powers, election law, gun control, and other issues. As for the nominee, he got points for patience, and after sitting through the day's political drama, Kavanaugh finally had a chance to speak.
Over the past 12 years, I've ruled sometimes for the prosecution and sometimes for criminal defendants, sometimes for workers and sometimes for businesses, sometimes for environmentalists and sometimes for coal miners. In each case, I have followed the law. I do not decide cases based on personal or policy preferences. I am not a pro-plaintiff or pro-defendant judge. I'm not a pro-prosecution or pro-defense judge. I am a pro-law judge. As Justice Kennedy showed us, a judge must be independent, not swayed by public pressure. Our independent judiciary is the crown jewel of our constitutional republic. In our independent judiciary, the Supreme Court is the last line of defense for the separation of powers. and for the rights and liberties guaranteed by the Constitution. The Supreme Court must never be viewed as a partisan institution. The justices on the Supreme Court do not sit on opposite sides of an aisle. They do not caucus in separate rooms. If confirmed to the Supreme Court, I would be part of a team of 9, committed to deciding cases according to the Constitution and laws of the United States.
Official questioning begins tomorrow. Senators will have 50 minutes total each to ask questions, and then, if today is any indication, sometime this week, the committee will vote 11-10, that's along party lines, to send this nomination forward, all but giving the president his second successful high court pick in 2 years. Mary Alice?
Thank you, David. The worrisome cap on state and local tax deductions tops the state's business news. Standing by at the Strategic Development Group studio at the NJCU School of Business is Rhonda Schaffler. Rhonda?
Mary Alice, that ongoing battle over so-called SALT deductions does not bode well for New Jersey. Credit ratings agency Moody's says the IRS's recent denial of a workaround for the $10,000 cap on state and local tax deductions is a credit negative for New Jersey. Now that means the state's credit rating could potentially be downgraded in the future. Moody's says the cap on SALT deductions would likely depress the growth in housing prices and lower property values, which in turn means states could collect less in property taxes. New Jersey and other states had passed legislation that would have enabled residents to pay their local taxes as charitable contributions in order to deduct them from their federal tax returns. But the IRS recently disallowed that. New Jersey and several other states have already sued the IRS over the tax dispute. Daily fantasy sports company DraftKings says it suffered a denial of services attack last month that prevented customers from using its website for a brief period of time. That attack came shortly after it launched sports betting here in New Jersey. DraftKings went to court seeking approval to subpoena service providers in an attempt to find out who was behind the attack. The company says no confidential customer information was stolen. Right before the start of the long Labor Day weekend, the Golden Nugget became the latest casino to offer sports betting. Its sportsbook is now located in the former site of the casino's poker room. Later in the fall, the Golden Nugget plans to offer mobile sports betting. After Labor Day, gas prices typically fall because demand drops off as vacation and travel season largely comes to an end. That is happening now in New Jersey, according to a survey out today by AAA. Gas prices now average $2.86 a gallon. That's down a nickel from a month ago. Of course, those lower prices might not last long, with the state's gas tax set to go up next month. Amazon today became a $1 trillion company. Its lofty valuation was achieved thanks to its stock soaring about 75% so far this year. Amazon is the second public company to hit that $1 trillion milestone. Apple did the same earlier this summer. On Wall Street today, stocks closing little change. The Dow was off 12 points. And those are your top business stories.
Support for the Business Report is provided by Atlantic City Electric, an Exelon company, connecting communities and powering southern New Jersey.
New Jersey is the first state in the nation to cap the amount of PFNA contaminants in drinking water. The man-made chemical compound was once used in making nonstick cookware, firefighting foam, stain-resistant clothing, and food packaging. It's been linked to low infant birth weights, immune system and hormone disorders, and cancer. There are no federal standards for the compounds. The New Jersey rule amends the State Safe Drinking Water Act to set a maximum PFNA contaminant level of 13 parts per trillion starting next year. But 5 New Jersey municipalities shut down contaminated wells because of the chemicals. Changes are coming to the state's long-criticized medical examiner's office. Its lack of staff, facilities, and oversight in investigating suspicious, violent, and unexplained deaths caused a backlog of autopsies adding to the grief of families awaiting answers about the death of a loved one. In July, Governor Murphy signed a law giving the chief medical examiner authority over all 10 regional and county medical examiners' offices. Now, following a national recommendation, the agency be independent of law enforcement. Oversight of the entire system will be transferred from the Attorney General's office to the State Department of Health. The state is in the midst of what the CDC calls steep and sustained increases in the number of sexually transmitted diseases being diagnosed. Senior correspondent Brenda Flanagan reports on their prevalence and prevention.
Sex. Nowadays, Americans tell surveys they have it 9 fewer times a year than back in the 90s. So what explains the current national explosion in sexually transmitted diseases? Chlamydia up 21% last year, gonorrhea up 67%, syphilis up 76%. 2.3 million cases total, the CDC says.
People nowadays are more reliant on birth control methods and think that STDs have been more eradicated and don't feel like they have to use contraception, like a condoms for the purpose of protecting themselves from STDs, but rather from pregnancy is more important to them.
STIs and STDs aren't as much of a concern now as they might have been a long time ago, so people might just be having more unprotected sex because they think they're safer.
Because they can just go get a shot or a pill?
Maybe. I don't know.
Less sex, more STDs. Why is that? I think the first thing to remember is that you only need one time to transmit an STD. You don't have to have lots of partners to get an STD. All you need is one partner who's infected.
The dean of Rutgers School of Public Health points to high poverty levels and poor sex education standards as mutual culprits.
I think when people think about sex, they think about two things. They think about HIV and they think about pregnancy. Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia doesn't cross their mind. They don't know that these diseases some of them can be transmitted orally.
In New Jersey, where infection rates for all 3 common STDs have also spiked from 8 to 46% since 2012, he also finds a correlation between unprotected sex and the drug epidemic.
If somebody has a lot of self-confidence in using a condom, they will use a condom. What those models tend to forget is that when people have 2 drinks or use opioids or do meth, that all rational decision-making goes out the door, all right? And so drugs are a huge factor in perpetuating the STD rates that we continue to see in our country.
The CDC recommends adults get tested for STDs once a year or if they start a new sexual relationship. New Jersey's 17 Planned Parenthood clinics started offering free STD testing back in April and will continue through September. So far, they've tested 17,000 patients.
So we have been offering, on average, 2,000 tests a week, which is a 40% increase compared to last summer. So this is huge numbers of people that have been coming in. Access and education are 2 of the biggest reasons why STDs may continue to be going up.
So what can you do? Get tested. And if you do get frisky, use protection. In Hackensack, I'm Brenda Flanagan, NJTV News.
Home for the holiday, that tops tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Jersey City, where actor Derek Luke hosted a big block party and hundreds filled Audubon Park for the celebration. In the 25 years since he graduated from Snyder High School, Luke has had prominent roles in Friday Night Lights, Antoine Fisher, and the hit series 13 Reasons Why. Now his Derek Luke Foundation is giving back to the community where he was raised, capping 4 days of initiatives aimed at helping underserved urban communities with a party right next to the Stegman Street house Luke grew up in. Next to Whitesboro, where Stedman Graham came home for the small town's annual reunion and brought his longtime partner with him. Oprah Winfrey praised the Middle Township Police Chief's talk, focusing on intervention and education, ate Durkee's Chicken and Fries chicken, provided by Stedman's cousin Durkee, and asked 100-year-old resident Lillian Inez Palmer the secret to her long life. Ms. Palmer reportedly suggested she wash her face in cold water. The African-American residential community, far from the discrimination practiced in southern states, was co-founded in 1901 by attorney George Henry White. Finally, Tuckerton, where a book bindery is doing business the old-fashioned way. Richard Bethel, who opened the Bethel Bindery, is 91 now, so his son-in-law and co-owner, Tom Geiger, does the meticulous work on antique machines that date back to the early 1900s. To stitch the pages together, there's a cutter to make them uniform, a place to glue the book spine, an area to make book covers, and a station to set the type that makes the cover's title. He restores antique books or binds doctoral theses or repairs family Bibles, 1 or 2 at a time. No mass production and no threat of a computer virus either. And that's the Garden State Express for Tuesday, September 4th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off.
Support for the Medical Report is provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
The big crowds of beachgoers may have dwindled for the start of school, but lifeguards are still at some posts on the shore and on the water, an unlikely crew of rescue workers at the ready, firefighters. Lauren Wonka reports.
Moments after hearing this sound, the Manasquan Fire Department boarded their rescue boat, Marine 27, to save a distressed swimmer. We joined the team for one of their drills. The boat operator inserts the coordinates where the swimmer was last seen, and we take off. For this training exercise, a crew member jumps in the water and acts as the victim.
Repeating, we have 1 victim in the water off of Ocean Avenue Beach.
OEM from Marine 27, I copy, swimmer in distress off Ocean Beach.
The team on board immediately responds, searching the water, then attaching a throw line to a life ring, tossing it to the victim and pulling him into safety. They call this rescue method an indirect pickup. What drives you to go out and put your own life on the line for strangers?
Been doing it for 35, 40 years. And I think if you'll see every guy that joins the fire department, they just want to help their community. And this is one of the best ways to serve their community.
About 30 Manasquan volunteer firefighters operate the rescue boat. Lifeguards and EMS from surrounding communities also volunteer, offering medical care and other assistance.
They're incredible. The volunteer effort by the fire company in Manasquan is absolutely incredible. They put in hundreds of hours to train to become a fireman in the first place. They not only fight fires, but then they also man this fire rescue boat.
The Manasquan Fire Department trains on the water weekly in the spring, summer, and fall, and they typically use these child-sized mannequins. A crew member will place the doll in the water from another boat so the rescue team doesn't know where it is. And since the water is constantly moving the swimmer, it makes the search job that much harder, which is why they constantly drill. Marine 27, which has been used for nearly 10 rescues and more than 70 responses, including other maritime emergencies since last summer, is primarily used after lifeguard hours, when many beachgoers still swim.
When the weather gets bad, and what we mean by bad is high risk of rip currents, moderate rip current risks, we actually put the boat out on patrol. We get crews together and we actually go out and we're proactive after the lifeguards go off duty.
In particularly hazardous weather conditions, Marine 27 can assist lifeguards on duty. During this drill, Manasquan lifeguards saved a distressed swimmer in the Atlantic Ocean and got him to safety on the boat.
On days where the swells are really big and lifeguards aren't comfortable getting the victims back to shore that way, we can put them on this platform, get them through the inlet and back to safety much easier.
This former U.S. Coast Guard boat has also been outfitted with firefighting gear.
We put a pump on the back of the boat with hard suction that will suck the water right out of the ocean. We'll run that water up through that pump up to the front of the boat where we have a fire nozzle, and the nozzle will spray the water.
The team must complete 4 days of training and pass a written test. These men say it's worth it. Manasquan OEM Deputy Coordinator David Kircher remembers a man they recently rescued from the ocean.
He would not be here today if it wasn't for this boat.
Which is why these firefighters say they'll continue volunteering their time on the water. On the Atlantic Ocean, I'm Lauren Wonko, NJTV News.
And now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. The health department says the number of people in New Jersey who contracted syphilis between 2012 and 16 jumped 43%. The Gateway Development Corporation estimates the Gateway project will cost roughly $30 billion. As of today, the average price of New Jersey gas is $2.86 a gallon, and the town of Whitesboro was founded by African-American attorney and Congressman George Henry White in 1901. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag #KnowJersey. Tomorrow on NJTV News, former Vice President Joe Biden stumps for a candidate who could flip a red district blue. To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thanks. See you tomorrow.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Have some water.
Look at these kids.
How are you?
What do you see? I see myself. I became an ESL teacher to give my students what I wanted when I came to this country. The opportunity to learn, to dream, to achieve, a chance to belong and to be an American. My name is Julia Toriani Crompton, and I'm proud to be an NJEA member.